catcher, Casey Coleman.
Yeah, he's not only had a high average, but he's keeping that slugging percentage up. He had opposite field double just a few days ago. He's got a couple more extra base hits under his belt, so you're going to have to kind of pitch around him if you're going to want to keep the score at 0, at least right now in the first inning.
Perlick goes right after him on that first pitch. Coleman, 348 hitter now on the year. One of those catchers we've talked about, brings a lot of offense for their side. The pitch, too high. Perlick, a big righty out there, and it's St. Francis in their white jerseys with St. Francis across the front, the long blue socks, and we talked about the different colors of Mount Vernon yesterday. You see them in the green jerseys here this afternoon.
I think they could even pull off like a purple or really any dark color, like a dark blue, and we saw the powder blues the other day when we were calling them. And you got to bring some extra sets of uniforms if you're going to want to perform here in the tournament longer, because Mount Vernon's so far away, 3.5, 4 hours away. Got to bring an extra change of clothes or two if you want to go deep.
Fouled straight back. Count 1-2. Perlick, not a big strikeout guy, 37 Ks and 38 innings on the year. He'd love to get one here, but we've seen a ton of double plays and even one triple play in this tournament. As the defensive, cool. The defense on really every game has been on display. Had a couple double plays in our first game of the day. Of course, Indiana Wesleyan defeated, help me out, Spring Arbor. There we go.
Spring Arbor.
I've got Cougars just in the back of my head, as we've got two more sides with that mascot here in this one. The pitch. Too low. Good block back there by Eli Riley.
I think we could change some names maybe in the conference, have a little bit of variety. I don't know.
You know, Carson and I were talking about that, but then he's thinking you got to make new designs, new T-shirts, new gyms potentially. I don't know. We'll see if it ever happens. That one's just inside, and now the count's full. Maybe a good pitch to run here over at first base. Minnick might be thinking about getting a head start. Full count. One out. Coleman, obviously a good hitter at the plate, and he's got a good lead. He's off. The pitch lifted to center field. It's hit hard, but Croxton's got a good read on it. Minnick goes halfway and heads back to first, and now 2 down in the top of the first.
Preston, you've done a nice job calling games, but you've done a nice job predicting what's going to happen. That was a really good runner's count there. The only thing that you don't want to run into is a line out right in the infield, and it's going to peg the runner at first. But Mount Vernon, as we saw yesterday against Taylor, not a lot of power necessarily, but just some really good at-bats. So they know what to do when they're swinging the bat here.
This will bring up Joe Perimsky. He takes first pitch too low. He's had a nice tournament as well. 308 batter. Swinging it from the right side. He's in left, as he has been in many of the other Mount Vernon games this season. Perlick sets at the mound. Another good lead at first. Throw over. Keeping a close eye on Minnick. Talk about the defense behind Perlick here today. Eli Riley, his catcher, as you see there in frame. Gavin Noble playing third. Jaden Lepper, the shortstop. Jose Valdez Sandoval at second. Sam Pisa at first. The pitch outside. And in the outfield, the left fielder Colton Cardenas. We've already met Croxton in center and David Miller, who had a massive home run yesterday in right.
Talk about one of the best hitters in the conference. David Miller, will see him batting second in the next half inning.
Minnick off. Throw down to second. Valdez Sandoval easily makes the play. Eli Riley continues to show off his arm behind the plate, and it's an unconventional 1-2-3 first. The Cougars taking on the Cougars. How about St. Francis up next? We'll be right back at Forest Glen Park.
I invite you to visit one of our 7 BP convenience stores. And when you do, I expect you will experience hometown excellence in the cleanest and friendliest convenience stores in your community. Please also consider visiting JJ Java for the best cup of coffee in town, or JJ's Pit Stop for a quick, no appointment necessary professional oil change. Also, if you ever need a clean and efficient environment in which to do laundry, JJ's washroom is ready to serve you.
Welcome back to Forest Glen Park. A scoreless top of the first for St. Francis. And now they will come up to the plate, and they'll be facing right-handed pitcher Johnny Nixon.
Yeah, Preston, Mount Vernon has asked Johnny Nixon to do a lot this year in his freshman campaign. He has started 7 games this season with 34 innings of work, just a tidge under an 8 ERA, but he's been at least reliable for Mount Vernon enough to trust him in this Crossroads League tournament, and this is potentially the biggest game of his college career so far.
And you see on your screen there's the starting lineup for the St. Francis Cougars. They are the home team since they are the higher seed in this game. Jaden Lepper, the shortstop, leading it off, followed by David Miller, Xavier Croxton, Sam Pisa, Noah Mack, Colton Cardenas, Jose Valdez Sandoval, Gavin Noble, and Eli Riley. So Nixon steps on the mound. He'll be facing Jaden Lepper, a .340 hitter on the year. The first pitch to him is in there for strike 1. 7.94 ERA, as you mentioned, for Nixon, but this is a really tough pitching conference. Pitch, hit hard, up the middle, and that'll sneak through. And Minnick's unable to get to that one. The leadoff man on here for St. Francis.
Yeah, as you just said before, we were interrupted by Jordan Lepper's single. It is a very tough pitcher's conference because of guys like this right here, David Miller, who's got all the power in the world. But we've talked about it early in like those play-in games, Crossroads League. The power numbers just keep going up and up and up, and the ERAs do exactly the same in more of a negative way than positive.
Miller on the year has continued to hit for power, and he continued that yesterday. He hit one of the longest home runs I've seen in a college baseball game. It was a 2-run shot in St. Francis's game against Spring Arbor. Lepper on first, good speed. Miller in the box, throw over. Nice pick there by Keener. Forest Glen Park has played a really nice host here this week to a lot of baseball games. The pitch, too high.
And thankfully the weather has too, for the most part, although we're previewing some lightning bolts maybe on Monday. That stinks because that's Championship Monday, but at least for now the weather's been pretty nice.
It has been a really nice weekend, especially. Here's the pitch. That one's too low, and now 3-0, so Nixon trying to get back in the zone against David Miller. Seen a lot of 3-0 counts. I wouldn't think this is a spot where Miller gets the green light, but after the swing yesterday, you never know. Exactly. The pitch. He is swinging.
With him, I would think just about in almost any situation, but I don't know. It's tough because with 3-0, you get ball 4, you get guys in scoring position with the heart of the order, but man, do you take him off with a pitch right down the middle?
He's still in a really good hitter's count, as that play is fairly close at first, but back in time was Lepper. Miller playing right field in every game for St. Francis so far in this tournament. Here's the pitch. That one's outside, so he takes a 3-0 hack, but he'll get on via the walk, and that'll bring up Xavier Croxton, which I've really started to pick up on. I don't know how to say it. I guess I'm a fan of Xavier Croxton. He's a really good hitter, 382 obviously, but just his approach at the plate has started several rallies for this Cougar side this tournament.
And he's really helped to propel this offense that can just explode on the scene at any moment. Yesterday we saw it with 14 runs scored, and St. Francis is a team that will do that, and they've got a couple solid pitchers too, and to get both of them to come together, it's a really dangerous team. That's why they still sit here on Saturday afternoon still playing in the tournament.
Croxton down 0-1. Long look from Nixon again. The pitch too high and outside. And in the first game of the tournament, St. Francis was defeated by Indiana Wesleyan, and that was a good game, 7-5. Nixon's taking his time out there. No pitch clock here this weekend. The pitch lifted up down the third baseline. We'll see if Coleman has a play, and he does, and what a play it was.
I think he made a basket catch on that. That is that's not the way that you draw it up, but you know what? He gets the out, and I'm sure the team will be just fine with that. Let's see. Did he go basket with this? Yes, he sure did. He maybe even bobbled it. What a nice play right up against that wall. It's a brick wall, so you got to be really careful that you don't drill yourself against that, but a really nice play by the catcher there.
Pisa steps in. He had a nice day yesterday at the plate. Pitch, too high. Pisa showed off his bat, but also his speed. 2 stolen bases yesterday, maybe out of a guy you don't expect to run, but he was all over the place. Lepper still out there on second after that leadoff single. Miller at first after a walk. 1 down, bottom of the first. That's on the outside corner.
I'd live out there if I was Mount Vernon. Well, I guess if I was both Cougar teams here today, I would live on that corner. Whatever the umpire's going to give you, I would pound that part of the strike zone, especially with 1 out here. Maybe try to spin a ground ball, get something low and outside. Try to get 2 here and get your team back in the dugout.
That one's hammered but foul to the right side, and now the count's 1-2. Talked about how Perlick wasn't a big strikeout guy, and Nixon wouldn't be considered as a strikeout pitcher either. Only 19 Ks on the year compared to 13 walks. Right now he could use 1, or, as you mentioned, a ground ball to get out of the inning. The pause. The pitch. Outside. Pisa on the year, just a .236 hitter, but that's actually gone up in this tournament. Seen him poke some singles through the right side, and if he does that here, he may give his team the lead. The pitch. That's too high. And now it's full. Seems like a big pitch, even though it's just the bottom of the first. You don't want to load the bases, and, waiting on deck's Noah Mack, who went yard yesterday in their game.
Yeah, and definitely for a freshman too. You want to pounce on the younger pitchers, try to maybe scare them a little bit or get some momentum.
Up the middle, and there's the momentum. Lepper's being waved around. He will score standing up, and Sam Pisa stays hot for St. Francis.
Well, that's just a really nice piece of hitting. Saw a bunch of pitches, kind of saw his arsenal, and was able to wait on a mistake pitch here and get one right up the middle. And that's a really good piece of hitting, something on that outside corner that the umpire clearly is going to call today, and that's going to work to their advantage. So, I told Mount Vernon, hey, pound the outside of the zone. They did, and they got bit by it. So that's why I'm up here.
That'll bring up Noah Mack. That was a good piece of hitting, though, by Pisa, really. Staying through the middle, breaking balls high. Mack, yesterday, hit a long home run. Him and Miller showed off some power in that game. And obviously, Jose Valdez-Sandoval hit a solo shot himself. So 3 home runs for the Cougars, all in yesterday's game. The pitch, that is on the outside corner, so there you go.
It's a nice little get-me-over pitch there. As a pitcher, I like the pound outside corner, especially if I knew that they were going to call a couple inches outside there. This is my favorite pitch, fastball outside.
Nixon with the pitch. That is a fastball, but too far outside. Counts 2-1. Runners on the bases. Pisa, after that RBI single on first, bumped Miller up to second, and that's where we stand. St. Francis strikes early, and sometimes those first inning runs can give you the momentum, and you just continue to run with it. Mack trying to make it more. Fouled off. There have been some guys in this St. Francis offense that you look at their stats throughout the year. One comes to mind, Jose Valdez-Sandoval, a sub-200 hitter coming into this tournament, and he's made big swings in both of their games. So it's just kind of that next man up mentality. And, you talked about the first game of this tournament. New year when you play in the postseason as Nixon gets Mack to go down swinging. Now 2 down here in the bottom of the first.
And Mount Vernon has had a lot of production as we take a look at a nice little curveball slider action there to get the K. But yeah, Mount Vernon's bottom half of the order as well has been very, very productive, and that's what's going to win you tournament games. And here Mount Vernon and St. Francis stand.
Cardenas steps in. He'll take a first pitch breaking ball in the dirt. Nice job by Coleman to keep that right around the plate. Cardenas, another nice offensive player for this Cougars side. .295 hitter in the regular season. He's found his way to a pretty productive offensive tournament as well. The 1-0. Breaking ball fouled back. So let's tell you a little bit about what happens after this game. After this one, we've got Huntington and Indiana Wesleyan again. And then the winner of this game gets to move on to Monday. And then if HU wins, they'll have to be HU twice. The pitch, outside corner, strike 2. So best case scenario for the Foresters, they win tonight, and then either Mount Vernon and St. Francis has to beat them twice on Monday. If HU loses, that obviously moves 3 teams to Monday, and things get very interesting.
Yeah, so the rest of the tournament, this game here and tonight, it's treated as a semifinal, but the Foresters are already in the championship, which is kind of different. That they would have to do a quote-unquote semifinal, but that's just to determine, okay, how many games does Huntington have on their loss resume? So if they win, you got to beat them twice. If they lose tonight, then they'll have to, it's just a straight championship game on Monday.
Lifted to right center field. Heck goes back, now has to come in, and he makes the grab. So one goes across the plate for St. Francis, and we will head to the top of the second. A battle of Cougars. We will see who makes it to the championship. We'll be back for the top of the second after this short break.
The State Bank is a cornerstone of the community. Our banking building blocks were assembled in 1911 and haven't differed much since then. We still stay true to our local roots, aiming to support, uplift, and celebrate the citizens and businesses of Huntington. As proud lenders to and patrons of our local businesses, we make our community an even more prosperous place. And when you support local banking, you play an important role in Huntington's success stories. No matter what financial products you may need, your business is an invaluable opportunity for us to strengthen our relationship with Huntington, which we're fortunate enough to call home. Bippa's State Bank is banking at its best. We believe in community banking.
Top of the second, 1-0. St. Francis lead, and back out on the mound, Riley Perlick. He worked around just a little bit of trouble, got some help from his defense. You know, Eli Riley behind the plate for St. Francis is showing off a really strong throwing arm in this tournament.
Yeah, we've had some really good catcher play, and Riley is just in the mixture of all that. We've seen great defensive plays, and now later in the tournament we're starting to see a little bit more offense. So we'll see who can kind of step up on the defensive side and maybe prevent some of those runs from coming back. So far, Riley's done a nice job of pegging some runners and help keeping his dugout into the dugout.
Joe Perimsky steps up, his first at bat of the day. 308 hitter in the regular season, 3 home runs, 29 RBIs. Perlick's 1-1. That's a good breaking ball right on the corner, and that's going to be called all day. Like you said, the pitcher's making that adjustment here early.
Got to pound that outside of the zone. They're going to set up there again.
This one catches a little more of the plate. Perimsky fouls it off.
Yeah, I don't want to leave that in that portion of the play. That's why maybe we've been having some more offense as we go deep into the bullpen as well.
Yeah, the first game we called, the ball wasn't going anywhere, Ryan, and now all of a sudden it seems like we're having a home run or 2 or last night 4 in each game.
Exactly. I think that's just due to now everybody's kind of used to maybe the nervousness and the jitters have gotten out a little bit.
Nice swing there from Perimsky on a breaking ball. Shoots it right back up the middle, and the first hit of the day for the Cougars belongs to Joe Perimsky.
He's a threat to steal over at first. Maybe Mount Vernon will try to get him over.
See that piece of hitting there? Croxton had a read on it, but was never going to get to that one. It was too sharply hit. First pitch, down too low. Blaine Keener at the plate. He's a guy that strikes out a fair amount, but also has a little pop in that bat as well. You see that 229 average. Here's the pitch. Hit hard down the right field line, but way foul. So Perlick is a Fort Wayne guy. He went to Carroll High School. Another local player on St. Francis. Obviously, you would expect a lot of that. So not too far from where he grew up playing college ball. Pitch. Big swing and a miss. We saw Keener early in this tournament almost leave the front door of this park. He sent it to right center field and hit it in the air off the wall. So obviously a guy lower in the lineup, but provides a little bit of pop. He cannot do so here as he does go down the swinging. Perlick picks up his first K of the day. And next up will be Damian Candell.
And it comes at a perfect time as we take a look at that outside corner pitch. You got to swing at it, so at least he did that right. Just didn't make any contact, but it's a tough pitch to hit outside. But a very, very important out with the leadoff man at first.
Candell's had a good tournament as well. Good block by Riley. Another big guy, DHing. Just one homer on the year, 5 knocked in. But sometimes it just matters when you're knocking those runs in, and the at-bats are becoming more common here for Candell. The runner's off. Riley cannot get rid of that one. Maybe didn't have a grip, and that's a stolen bag. And so Perimsky gets himself into scoring position.
See if we can tell what happened there. Maybe, yeah, I guess maybe he just lost the grip on it. Had it in his hands at least, but probably just didn't get a full couple fingers on it to fire it over.
The pitch. There's the outside corner, 2-1. One down, runner on second. Perlick trying to get through another scoreless inning. Did not give up a run in a 1-2-3 first. Throw to second, and diving back in time is Perimsky. Seen some close plays on the base pass this week as well. Candle waits. Perlick checks the runner. And now the pitch. Fouled straight back. Good swing there. Count evens up at 2-2. See Perimsky trying to read the second baseman, Jose Valdez Sandoval, as he tries to keep the Mount Vernon base runner close. Perlick pauses, and now he pitches. That's too low, and it squeaks by Riley, so a free 90 feet. And on to third goes Perimsky. So now with less than 2 outs, maybe Mount Vernon just looking for a hard ground ball or a fly ball to tie this one up.
And they spent all that time trying to keep Perimsky over at first and second, and then the next pitch later ends up on third because of a pass ball. Riley's been doing a nice job so far, just couldn't get that one.
Corners pinch, swings, soft ground ball to the right side, but it'll roll foul. So it looks like up the middle, St. Francis might be willing to give up the run, but if a ball's hit sharply, obviously, to Perlick, Noble, or Pisa, who are on the corners, they might try to go home and cut down Perimsky.
Yeah, you want to keep as much range as you can in the infield, so if a guy does score, you're likely to at least throw the guy out at first.
Popped up to the right side. Miller going back on it. He's at the track. He's at the wall, and he makes a grab. Miller takes the adventurous route It'll lead to a Mount Vernon run. A nice sac fly swing there by Candell. Perimsky comes across the score, and it's all knotted up at 1.
Yeah, I don't think that's exactly the route that David Miller wanted to take out there in right field, but nonetheless still got the out, so it didn't hurt the team as much. But maybe a little bit tough to see out there. It's pretty cloudy out there. Maybe the ball got mixed up with the clouds a little bit, not sure, but nonetheless gets the out. But we've got a run up on the board for Mount Vernon.
Blankenship up now. He's down 0-2. Perlick, as we mentioned, not a strikeout guy, but he does have 1 on the day to go with 1 walk and now 1 earned run and 1 2/3. Blankenship, 233 hitter, 1 home run outside. Sometimes you just get that production from your lower hitters in the lineup, and in a game like this, it's a must-win, obviously. Fouled off. So we'll see if later in the game, how risky these head coaches get. Will they come back to maybe some of their top-end starters who may have thrown on Wednesday or Thursday just to make sure they get through this game? I would assume that's definitely something you could see because, a spot in the NAIA tournament's on the line. Ground ball right side. Valdez Sandoval down to a knee, over to first in time. He continues to play a really sharp second base. Ryan, we'll hear your thoughts on that situation when we come back. It's all tied up as we head to the bottom of the second.
As the owner of JJ's, I invite you to visit one of our 7 BP convenience stores. And when you do, I expect you will experience hometown excellence in the cleanest and friendliest convenience stores in your community. Please also consider visiting JJ Java for the best cup of coffee in town, or JJ's Pit Stop for a quick, no appointment necessary professional oil change. Also, if you ever need a clean and efficient environment in which to do laundry, JJ's washroom is ready to serve you.
The wind picking up a little bit here in Forest Glen Park, blowing out to dead center field. And you need all the help you can get if you're going to take one out the front of this park.
Well, there's our reason for the offense right there.
I was going to say,
the wind.
Wind really hasn't been a factor this week. So before we went to break, I should say, we talked about whether these teams might go to some of their higher leverage arms earlier in this game when it's 1-1. Say it gets to the 5th inning, do you come back to a starter that maybe already threw earlier in this tournament?
So Mount Vernon played in the play-in game on Wednesday.
Yeah.
That would be 3 days, pretty much of full rest. St. Francis, their first game, I believe, was on Thursday. So for St. Francis, probably not. For Mount Vernon, it all comes down to how's your arm feeling. Is your arm feeling okay? We'll give you maybe an inning or 2 if you need to get that out of your pitcher. But right now you're going to want to just go with your bullpen as much as you can, and then maybe in a high leverage situation in the 8th or 9th, if you have to, go back to a starter that started on Wednesday.
Hogan Hack with a heck of a catch as Valdez Sandoval sent a line drive out to right field, but 1 batter up and 1 batter down here for the pitcher on the mound. And Mount Vernon, they need a quick inning out of a pitcher. The bottom of the first, Nixon got into a little bit of trouble, worked around it, only gave up that 1, so that's a good start. Breaking ball, he's got that working pretty well. Noble's down 0-1. Noble's pinch hit a few times, also ran the bases. Yesterday he came in for Lichtensteiger, one of the best names in the Crossroads League. It's a 1-1 count, 1 out, 1-1 score. Fouled off to the left side. Eli Riley, the catcher, waits on deck. Here's the 1-2. Too high. I would say that, for the limited at-bats, Noble's still pretty productive at the plate with that .259 average. 7 runs knocked in. He checks his swing, and he actually went around. Tough play here at first, but Coleman able to make the spinning throw, and now 2 up, 2 down.
And another nice catching play here, this time by Casey Coleman, who has to go over towards the left side, which is going to bode well for him. Makes a little spin and fires Because when you catch it right behind the plate, you have to communicate with your first baseman, inside or out. And what that means is the first baseman going to be on the inside or outside of the bag? You can't be in the middle. You're going to get drilled by the runner. So you got to pick which one. That time it was easy. He's going to be on the inside of the bag.
So Nixon settled in there, and as you said, he put that throw right on the money. So Keener is safe at first. I should say he's safe as far as still healthy. 1-1 count coming up to Riley. We've already seen his arm defensively. Now we get to see his bat. Eli Riley, 262 on the year, 3 home runs. Takes a big hack. He was looking for number 4. So now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nixon was thinking about a quick inning, and now he's a pitch away from having one. Here comes the pitch. Foul ball. Another 2-2 from Nixon. Breaking ball to the left side. Right there's Minnick. He'll make the throw over, and Riley is out. So a 1-2-3 inning for Nixon there in the bottom of the second. We're through 2 complete innings. 2 Cougars tied up. On to the third.
Bippa State Bank is a cornerstone of the community. Our banking building blocks were assembled in 1911 and haven't differed much since then. We still stay true to our local roots, aiming to support, uplift, and celebrate the citizens and businesses of Huntington. As proud lenders to and patrons of our local businesses, we make our community an even more prosperous place. And when you support local banking, you play an important role in Huntington's success stories. No matter what financial products you may need, your business is an invaluable opportunity for us to strengthen our relationship with Huntington, which we're fortunate enough to call home. Bippa State Bank is banking at its best. We believe in community banking.
Back for the top of the third between St. Francis and Mount Vernon Nazarene. Let's play a little trivia, Ryan.
Oh, no.
All right?
See.
So, the question. What is the most used college mascot?
Cougars.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm actually still researching.
The
so
nickname,
I
you
can't
mean?
The nickname, I should say.
In college athletics or just in athletics in general?
Just in athletics. Well, let's do college athletics.
College athletics. Do you have the answer? I'm not asking.
I actually did just find it, I think.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like not Foresters. Tigers would be interesting. I don't think so because I can't name a ton of them. But I don't know. I would go with Tigers.
I thought I had the answer. Knights is up there. Knights is number 4.
I think of Vikings.
Well, we've got 2 Cougars here, and we've got a 1-1 game.
Wildcats. What is it?
I'm still looking, if I'm being honest with you.
I thought you had the
I'm
answer.
sorry. Okay. Google's not helping me out. This ball's lifted to right field. Miller back on it. If it's fair, it's gone, and it's gone. Ty Williams providing the spark.
How about the power in that bat going opposite field? Deep in the lineup, too, the 8-hole man, Ty Williams. What a tournament he's had.
Yeah, he's been really sharp at the bottom of this order. And if you're going to knock one out of the park, you might as well go the shortest way. You see the whole dugout trying to curve that one fair, and he kept it just inside the foul pole.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, I know the fence is the shortest out in right field at 310 feet. But that's some serious power, especially from your 8-hole man as well. And I think the Mount Vernon dugout's kind of saying the same thing. Like, dang, Ty.
Hoop over to Valdez Sandoval. He'll take his time and make the throw. So now 1 out. Yeah, that's not someone you are expecting a ton of offense out of, but he'll take it when you get it. And Ty Williams is, for the time, giving his team the lead.
We saw Ben Kennedy from Taylor do that out of the 9-hole slot. And I think their 7-hole hitter, name escapes me, also hit a home run. So some production out of the back end of the lineup.
So I got the answer for you.
Okay.
Bulldogs.
Ah, jeez, I should have
Yeah.
guessed that one. Yeah.
There's a lot of Bulldogs. In the Crossroads League, there's 3 Cougars. There's a Wildcat. There's a Trojan, a Forester. What am I missing?
Maple Leaf.
Maple Leaf, Lancers.
Did we mention Cougars?
Yeah, plenty of those. So, yeah, I guess Bulldogs would have been a safe bet.
Yeah, that's about right.
That pitch is too high, so a 4-pitch walk, and Heck's on. First time today that he's been on base, and that'll bring up Ryder Minnick, who walked his first time. Yeah, there's 15 teams in Division I
Oh, my.
athletics with Bulldogs. Minnick at the plate, Heck on first. The pitch. Generous strike. Take a look at Minnick's stats. 320 on the year, 6 home runs, 29 runs knocked in. That's too low. There's Riley showing off his blocking ability once again. So the scoring is off to a pretty good pace here. We mentioned that these two teams, they meet and they score a lot of runs. Split the season series earlier in the year. Perlick throws over. Back in time is Heck. I like the top of this order, though, for Mount Vernon. I mean, Heck finds his way on. Minnick kind of hits the ball the other way. And then up next, you got Coleman, who knocks in runs like crazy. That's inside.
Yeah, you're right. Minnick's got some power. So does Hogan Heck, I guess, too. He's hit a home run, I think, in this ballpark in years past. But you're right. Those two guys kind of wreak havoc on the base pass, and then Casey Coleman will come up and clean everybody up with an extra base hit. And then it's just still tough from top to bottom. It's a scrappy lineup.
That ball once again skips past Riley. And so it's a 3-1 count. Heck moves into scoring position, and Minnick's job gets a little easier. I'm assuming this will be scored a wild pitch, but Riley had a chance.
That's a tough one to score.
It does look like they gave it a wild pitch. But, yeah, those are always kind of tough. This one's hit to the right side. Valdez Sandoval, second time today, throws it over to first and retires Minnick. Heck moves up to third, and now, as we talked about, the powerful Coleman steps up to the plate.
And with the way that Perlick has been throwing, he's been throwing well, but sometimes he's just been a little bit too wild, and the ball's been going to the backstop. So getting that runner over to third is just that much more important to put a run up on the board, especially with Coleman at the plate as well.
First pitch to him, Riley uses his body well there and keeps the ball at the plate. And you think about that wild pitch to, move Heck up to second base. If he has to stay on first, that's probably a double play to end the inning there on that ball from Minnick. So it could end up costing Perlick a little bit here if Coleman can knock him in. Riley again having to do a little extra exercise behind home plate. Two-0 pitch. Swing hit to Valdez Sandoval again. He's been a busy man. He bobbles, and he does deliver on time. So St. Francis avoids going down 2. But how about Ty Williams with a solo shot to right field? It'll be a 2-1 advantage as we're on to the bottom of the third between Mount Vernon and St. Francis.
This is how we like to do it.
Back for the bottom of the third. St. Francis, the home team here today. Mount Vernon back on the field, and They now lead 2-1 after a surprising Ty Williams solo blast.
I know. It was opposite field to a guy that doesn't have a ton of power in the bat, but clearly has enough power in the bat. He's been hitting the weight room, I guess. Hits one opposite field right in that little corner, and St. Francis is very fascinated with the camera here.
They're trying to have a little fun over there.
Nice.
You know, you got to keep loose and stay loose in a must-win game. And the camera always seems to find the fun ones. So St. Francis dugout having a good time. Right now, they'd like to scratch a few runs across as Lepper steps up. He's 1 for 1 today.
If I've learned anything doing broadcasting, players love the camera.
Lepper hits one to right field. It's pretty deep, but Heck will get back right in front of the warning track and make the grab. And maybe Ty Williams is thinking, you know, I got a little more pop than Lepper.
Yeah,
I don't know
exactly.
if that's true, but
He's telling everybody that right now.
yeah, he's feeling pretty good. Heck's been busy out in right field, though. A couple of putouts already. And now David Miller, we know how much power he has. He showed it off yesterday. We'll take that first one outside.
Yeah, the way the outfield is shifted right now, left and center field, about, you know, pretty deep, but in right field, right in front of the warning track is Hogan Heck. So he expects to be a little bit more busy.
And he might be busy as Miller launches one into the trees. Showing off the power again, David Miller continues to launch balls out of Forest Glen Park.
He could make a serious career out of playing baseball here at Forest Glen Park. He loves this ballpark.
I'm not sure it matters if the short porch is down the right field line.
That's true. That is very true.
He's hit 2 just absolute moonshots here in the last 2 games he's played at Huntington University.
Yeah, he's hit some absolute nukes. And I wasn't talking about the short porch. I was just in this ballpark in general. He's just loving playing down here in Huntington, Indiana. And loose is that dugout over there. And he's saying, look, you hit it out there in the trees. I think he knows.
You know, this one would be a great park, like if you hit your 25th career home run. If you want to go find it, you might have to take some boots.
Yes, that's very
some
true.
Hedge trimmers, I don't know. Different things to go find your baseball. But he's hit 2 the last 2 days. That one wasn't as far as the one yesterday, but it does even up the score.
Yeah, the one yesterday. I was sitting in the stands for that one, and it's like, man, I was sitting there. Yeah, this guy's a really good hitter. And the next pitch, he just launched it.
Croxton up 3-1 in the count. Breaking ball just catches the corner. The count's full.
That was really far out there, Preston. I'm gonna pound the zone outside there if I was him. Just like that. Yep.
Croxton goes down looking. He doesn't like either of the last 2 calls, but Nixon will take it. Now 2 down here in the bottom of the 3rd.
And, you know, this isn't a knock on Croxton, but at some point, you know, both teams are going to have to realize that's going to be called. So, you know, you can get upset about that, but when you're up at the plate, you just got to protect no matter what, whether you think it's a strike or not. Likely, probably not a strike, but at the same time, these are some postseason at-bats you got to protect.
Pisa, 1 for 1 on the day with a run knocked in. 2-2 game. Kind of feels like it might be one of those back and forth games here between St. Francis and Mount Vernon. Breaking ball, swing and a miss.
If we have a chance to see Pisa's stance from a different angle, he stands at 5'9", but both of his feet are outstretched from either side of the box.
He's going to try to stretch the lead as he sends the left fielder Perimsky back and onto the warning track. He'll make the grab, but David Miller has 2 home runs in 2 days, and we're locked up as 2. On to the 4th at Forest Glen Park. Back for the top of the fourth. Joe Perimsky steps in for the second time today. He's 1 for 1. And he will face Riley Perlick, who's out there for his fourth inning of work. Swing and a miss.
See if he can get things going again. The last time he was up, he led off the inning with a base hit, stole one, and came around to score on a sac fly from Damian Candell.
He's looking to get another rally going for Mount Vernon here. The 1-1. That one's on the outside corner, and the count is 1-2. Get to see a pretty good view of that strike zone from right behind center field and the pitcher's angle. You watch that one go a little too far outside. Counts 2-2. And the pitch. To the right side, Valdez Sandoval over, tries to make another good play, but that'll be an infield single. Sandoval has really made a lot of terrific defensive plays. That one just a little too far out into the outfield grass.
Yeah, not necessarily his fault. I mean, he did everything he could. If he had fielded it absolutely perfectly, maybe he has a chance. I mean, it would have been a bang-bang play, but he did at least stop it and prevent from a potential swipe to second base by Perimsky.
Perimsky did swipe second base last time he was out there. Keener drops one down right in front of the plate to second, and in time, Riley shows off that arm again. Cutting down the lead runner.
What an incredible throw by Riley here. He's got a ton of power in this arm. He took a little bit of a risk, but as soon as he grabbed it right in front of the plate, he fired that thing over to second. And you see, maybe that might have been a reason why Perimsky kind of held himself up a little bit. He may have still been out with the arm of Riley, but you got to wonder, maybe he would have been safe.
Riley's doing it all right now as he blocks that pitch. He's been a busy man back there today.
Yes, he sure has. What a nice play by him, because you don't want to bunt it, of course, right back to the pitcher, but that seemed to be at least in the middle enough to advance that base runner, but not with the arm of Eli Riley, it wasn't.
He's already thrown a runner out, and now he gets a put out on a fielder's choice. That one went 2-4. Candle in the box. He had a sac fly his last time up to right field. Takes a breaking ball at the bottom of the zone. 2-1. Coach Avila leading the Mount Vernon Wildcats. He's in his 34th season.
Cougars,
yeah.
That's okay. I said Wildcats earlier for trivia.
This could be 2. Lepper over to Valdez Sandoval on to first, and the throw's too low. It will stay in play. So a force out there, 6-4. And there's 2 outs now here. And that will bring up the next hitter, Blankenship. Just unable to turn this one, Ryan.
Yeah, it was a tailor-made double play, though. I mean, it was hit really hard right to the shortstop. Sandoval just unable to get it there and unable to pick that was Pesa over at first. So it keeps the inning alive. We'll see if Mount Vernon takes advantage of it.
Breaking ball in there for a strike. Brings up Holden Blankenship. He's 0 for 1 today. Berlick sets and pitches to the right side. Tough spin there off the hand of Pisa. On to third goes Candell. The throw from Valdez Sandoval not in time. And thinking about heading to second was Blankenship. He'll slam on the brakes. Interesting play there. We've seen some spinning baseballs on the turf that have caused some issues for defenders.
Well, he tried to use his bare hand instead of trying to backhand that one, and that's why you have the glove. You got a bunch of range in that. So now Mount Vernon takes advantage and has some momentum. Runners at the corners, and Ty Williams is now at the plate. That's apparently a guy you don't want to see in the 8 slot.
He had a solo home run to right field the last time up. Here's the pitch in the dirt.
Pesa had plenty of time.
Yeah, they did give him a single there, though. So because of that odd spin, and He was unable to get over in front of that baseball. They gave him a hit. Big pitch up next. Ty Williams wanted another. Comes up empty.
Yeah, the ball, I think, was just hit hard enough and wasn't really a routine-esque play. I think that's why they gave him the hit. Probably give the benefit of the doubt. Don't want to peg somebody for an error on something like that, I guess.
First and third, 2 outs. Williams trying to come up with another big hit. He hits one out to right. There is David Miller, and the threat comes up with no runs for Mount Vernon. So some base runners on for the Cougars. We head on to the bottom half of the fourth. Tied up 2-2.
Owner of JJ's, I invite you to visit one of our 7 BP convenience stores. And when you do, I expect you will experience hometown excellence in the cleanest and friendliest convenience stores in your community. Please also consider visiting JJ Java for the best cup of coffee in town, or JJ's Pit Stop for a quick, no appointment necessary professional oil change. Also, if you ever need a clean and efficient environment in which to do laundry, JJ's washroom is ready to serve you.
We head to the bottom of the fourth at Forest Glen Park. Back out on the mound for the Cougars, and he's done a fairly good job here so far today, Johnny Nixon.
Against a really good offense, too. And this is a freshman that's, hasn't had the best year in terms of ERA, but reliable enough to be in that back end of the starting rotation and has done a nice job today as his I guess his teammate Reese Willoughby yesterday, who, had maybe some better stats, but really just pounded the zone and defeated Taylor and struck out 9 doing so. Really helped his team, but now coming into this inning, just 54 pitches. And St. Francis hasn't been really able to jump on the pitching so far.
Mack takes first pitch at the knees, strike 1. He's 0 for 1 with a K. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball through the right side, so Mack picks up another hit in this tournament. And kind of a funky swing, but he makes his way on to first base.
Yeah, just trying to find a hole. And I mean, that pitch almost bounced. So maybe he wasn't trying to hit it opposite field, but if he was, that's a really great job on a breaking ball that about spiked the turf and gets on base.
And already 4 hits on the day for both teams.
I was interested to see, since the pitching is kind of that 3-4 starter, or maybe your first guy out of the bullpen will go on the mound in a bullpen day. I was interested to see how the hitters would respond to that, because we've seen it, Huntington with 12 runs yesterday, and just seeing if the teams like St. Francis scored 14 yesterday. So just to see how they respond to that. Will the offensive numbers go up?
High fly ball to the right side. Heck back on it. Cardenas was the one that put it in play, and he's retired. So Heck continues to stay busy. He's seen balls to his right and his left and over his head from Miller. It's a busy spot out there. It seems like a lot of balls have been being hit to right field here against Nixon. Is that because he is trying to hit that outside corner, or is it the velocity? What are you seeing?
Man, I'm not totally sure. Maybe because they are trying to pound the zone outside a little bit more, because that's just the pitch that has been being called a strike, as you see right there. And most of the hitters are right-handed, so hitting a ball outside will tail towards Hogan Heck. And then once you get guys like David Miller to the plate, they're extreme pull hitters, and that's why you've seen that as well.
Valdez Sandoval pulls one, foul. 0-2. We talked about Valdez Sandoval. He's coming to this tournament as a sub-200 hitter, but continues to find himself in big spots and has really produced some good plate appearances for this team. Seems like Coleman's wanting to know what the count is, and he gets the answer. It's 0-2.
Never trust the scoreboard.
The pitch. Fouled straight back. Nixon could use a ground ball double play. He's 1 pitch away from collecting his 4th strikeout. Here could be the double play. Minnick Over to Hoop, on to first, throw too tall, and the runner's safe again. So we've seen a couple of double play balls, only turned into one out.
Yeah, it's happened in back-to-back half innings here, just unable to, second baseman unable to spin it over to first on both occurrences. One was too low, one was too high. And now Sandoval will go to first base.
And you wonder sometimes, like, those plays could come up big. Because say Gavin Noble parks one here. You should have been out of the inning, and then you're down 2. So sometimes those small plays, of course, you don't get a throwing error on that play because you can't assume the double play. But it almost feels like an error because you're not picking up an out you should have had probably. If Noble did park one, I believe it'd be his first of the year, so I'm not saying that's going to happen. But if you get a chance to roll 2, you got to take advantage of it. And usually, solid baseball teams are able to do that and get their pitcher out of some trouble.
And that's going to help with pitch count, too. This isn't a weekend series. This is the tournament. You're going to have to keep on playing baseball, especially with one loss. One of these two teams is going to have to play twice on Monday, or potentially would play 2 on Monday. So that keeps the pitch count low.
Noble hits one just foul. It looked like Keener maybe thought it was still fair, but the count instead just moves to 1-2. The home plate umpire continues to turn around and let the scoreboard know that the count is not right. It's actually 0-2. So like you said, Ryan, I trusted the scoreboard, and I shouldn't have. It's an 0-2 count. Nixon's pitch. Outside.
Good spot. It's a good spot for that. High strike count, low ball count. It's been called out there. Maybe you can get a hitter fishing a little bit outside of that mark. Hesitant to swing. Or not to swing.
Noble fouls it off to the left side. That one makes its way about halfway up the hill. I didn't see. I need to look out and see if anyone's sitting up on top of the hill today. Not yet. Usually the spectators, I think, join us up there for the home games.
Couple
The
scattered,
yeah,
maybe
there are
up
some
there,
up there.
yeah.
It's kind of hard to see from the press box, but
There's not a bad seat in the house here.
not at all. There you go.
There we go.
Take a look. Well, he's not even watching the game. He's looking at his phone.
What the heck? You're at Forest Glen Park, man.
To the right side, Keener will get a chance this time, and he'll take it on his own. Another beautiful day at Forest Glen Park. We head to the 5th. All tied up, 2-2.
Bippa State Bank is a cornerstone of the community. Our banking building blocks were assembled in 1911 and haven't differed much since then. We still stay true to our local roots, aiming to support, uplift, and celebrate the citizens and businesses of Huntington. As proud lenders to and patrons of our local businesses, we make our community an even more prosperous place. And when you support local banking, you play an important role in Huntington's success stories. No matter what financial products you may need, your business is an invaluable opportunity for us to strengthen our relationship with Huntington, which we're fortunate enough to call home. Bippa State Bank is banking at its best. We believe in community banking.
Welcome back to Forest Glen Park. Ryan, we've made it to Game 10. It's been a busy week and weekend for you, Carson, and I, and of course everyone here in the back as well. We've got one more game tonight, and that'll be Huntington and Indiana Wesleyan for the second straight day. But you can't ask for a better spot to come watch a game. We showed the guy up on the hill taking it in. You've seen people down the right field line nearly sitting in the woods. People right behind home plate. Carson said he used to come sit at the picnic tables down the left field line. Just a lot of good places to take in some baseball.
And it's been a really good busy.
Yeah.
If you say you're busy, but it's baseball, That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'd rather have that than like math homework or something.
I'm telling you, the bases have been busy for Mount Vernon as Hoop lines a leadoff single up the middle. Take a look at this swing. Zachary Hoop, not the highest average hitter, but it's a hard line drive there.
Went 2 for 4 yesterday as well. Again, the back end of the lineup, as you have used the term second leadoff man, and that definitely happens here. And look at, you probably can't see the third baseman, but he is playing all the way in.
Yeah,
expecting a bunt.
Potentially expecting that bunt, Ryan. And Heck seems like a good guy to lay down a bunt. There's something cool just about watching Keith Veal go through the signs down at third base. He's been doing it for 34 years, and he looks like it. I don't know if you've ever tried giving baseball signs, but it's kind of awkward. The pitch, low. Riley blocks it again.
There's so many to go through. We saw Jose Valdez Sandoval doing some signs over at second with the runner on second, and those signs are telling the pitcher, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll give you a flash sign to go to second for a pickoff move or an inside move, and then the pitcher's got to get the signs from the catcher, what you're going to throw, and then the third base coach is constantly giving signs over there, and that's what Hogan Heck's looking at right now, is seeing, okay, what the heck am I doing? Am I going to bunt? Is this guy going to steal so I don't swing, or is it a hit and run? Is it nothing?
Heck chased a pitch in the dirt, and he's now still up in the count 2-1. I'm assuming the park will fill up a little bit tonight as we have a rematch of last night's HU and IWU game, but decent crowd here. Heck fouls it off to the right side.
We've had Spring Arbor and Mount Vernon. Those are the two farthest schools, 2.5 for Spring Arbor. We've seen those teams play the other close to Huntington games here so far. So when we've had Huntington and IWU and games like that where fans are able to travel, especially during the week when people are either at school or working and such, he is safe over there at first. It was a close one. But you're starting to see fans come out more because they're able to do so. It's hard to do it during the week when you live over in Mount Vernon, Ohio.
Hoop got lucky to get back into first base. Heck takes outside. Yeah, you're right. And, tonight, IWU only about 45 minutes away.
Taylor
HU,
about the same. And yeah.
HU obviously playing a home game, essentially. Good action pitch again. Runner stays. Heck lifts it to center. Croxton back on it. The lefty makes the grab. Heck is retired. And Minnick heads up to the plate.
Well, that's a big win for the starting pitcher here for St. Francis. Excuse me. Getting Hogan Heck out with a guy over at first. They try to prevent the bunt, perhaps advancing the runner, but they get an out, and the runner still stays over there at first. That's a big win. Riley Pennick, excuse me. Name escape. I'm trying to remember all these pitchers these last few days.
That's all good. We've had a Pettick, a Perlick. We've had.
That's what I was thinking Pennick, but I know that's not the name.
Yep. It's easy to do. A lot of names to learn in a short time. Minnick's trying to bunt for a hit. Barehanded play by Noble, and he's out. I'm not sure about that one, but it goes down as a web gem for Noble with the bare hand.
It was a bang-bang play. I thought it was safe initially.
Oh, yeah.
Not tough. Okay, it's bang-bang. You can't really tell there unless you really slow it down and zoom in. But, yeah, hey, a nice play, though, over at third by Gavin Noble. To pick that up barehanded, it is really hard to pick that off from third base barehanded and fire over to first.
Here's another look from the third base. Minnick getting down the line hard, and if you look, he's safe. Called out, though. So a tough break for Mount Vernon.
And see, we sit up here and we go, oh, he's obviously safe, but that's absolutely slow motion, zoomed in replay. That's a tough call to make if you're an umpire. But, yeah, it definitely looked like he was safe there and may may have cost him.
So Coleman was put on first base via the intentional walk. And that brings up Joe Perimsky, who's 2 for 2 on the day. So right man at the plate. 29 runs knocked in the regular season. Looking to add some more. The 1-0 outside. Check out the numbers. Not a lot of home runs, but a decent average, 308. I mean, you hit 308 in the major leagues in your career, you're a Hall of Famer. College, a little different, but still a solid season.
Some of those average numbers are crazy in the college ranks, especially in the Crossroads League. You know, if you're hitting around 300, it's like, okay, you had an okay year. you know, you look at that. Nothing too crazy, though it is obviously a really good average, as you just said.
Well, you talk about like someone like Matt Wolf last night. He's a 300 hitter
Right.
on the year. He goes yard twice. So obviously a really good hitter. But then you look at other people in the league, and they're batting 421. And
Yeah, you look at Langston, who hits right before him. Yeah,
370, 380. Same with Ian McCutcheon.
Lucas Gooden, too, of Indiana Wesleyan. T.J. Bass from Taylor.
Yep.
David Miller from St. Francis. I mean, this is just a league. Casey Coleman, of course, from Mount Vernon. You look at this league all around. It's a hitter's league, man.
Mount Vernon base runners will get a head start. Perimsky waits for Perlick. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Perlick gets a big K. Maybe a little help from the umpires, but he will take outs any way he can get them. Perimsky down swinging. We're halfway through. On to the bottom of the 5th.
This is how we like to do it.
Take a look at some of the Cougar fans making that long commute all the way to Huntington, Indiana. Right now, their team is locked in a good one, 2-2, and getting a little sun out there.
Yeah, getting a little sun and some dramatic baseball. It must be the Crossroads League tournament, huh?
Yeah, check that out. The banner for the last time Huntington won it, right behind those two, 2017. And if you're in the bullpen, well, they're not in the bullpen. They're waiting to play later tonight. But if you're out behind the bullpen, you might as well take in the nice weather as well.
Again, not a bad seat here at Forest Glen Park, no matter where you're at.
Nixon down, 1 ball, no strikes to Riley. The pitch, swing, I think. No. So check swing, and it's a ball, 2-0. Riley 0 for 1 on the day. 262 average on the year. Pitch. That one's right at the bottom of the zone. You know, knock on wood, Ryan, but we've had another game with pretty good pace. I hesitate to say that, but this one's lofted down the right field line and out of play.
Well, the offenses are going to come out here, and we're going to be changing everybody in the bullpen, so.
I mean, that's all right. We get paid either way, right?
That's true.
You know, talk about baseball.
That's true.
The 2-2. Breaking ball to the left side. Backhand play. Blankenship over to first.
Nice.
And another fine defensive play by this Mount Vernon side.
One of the best defensive teams, if not the best defensive team in the Crossroads League. Mount Vernon and Blankenship is proving why of that here. Showing off the arm and the glove a little bit.
Now, one of the longest throws you can have as an infielder. And he put that right on the money. You see Blankenship there with the sunglasses on the hat. I always thought that was kind of interesting. You know, it's sunny out, and you don't have your sunglasses on, but you put them on your hat still. Maybe just not to lose them, I guess.
It's the swag,
the
Preston.
swag.
It's the swag.
The drip, as the young kids say. Leper gets hit by that one.
We're young kids, too.
Yeah, you're right. We just gotta act like we're not, you know. Breaking ball just doesn't break, and Leper takes first base, and that'll bring up the man so far of really the tournament for St. Francis, David Miller. You remember what he did last time?
He hit the ball hard.
Yeah, and out of the park. Here's the pitch. Miller looking to do the same, fouls it straight back. 2 home runs now on the tournament for him, and both of them have gone to right field.
And both of them were hit really hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And he knew he hit both of them, too. Yesterday, he got a warning for launching his bat in the air.
Let the kids play.
That's what Carson and I were saying when he hit it.
I know Carson was saying that.
Miller,
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, Miller's been on both times today.
He's a guy that I just would not want to face as a pitcher. I mean, obviously, he can hit the ball really hard, as I've said now for the 3rd time. But he's just so tall and muscular in stature. It's just scary. And plus, I'm a right-handed pitcher, so he's got that advantage on me too. And you know what I would probably do? I'd just intentionally walk him.
Yep.
I'm not suggesting. I'm
sure,
just saying
yeah,
me personally.
I'm sure they considered it, but then you got Croxton on deck, so another high-average hitter waiting to get his chance as well.
Miller just scares me, though.
That's fair.
So
he's been scary in this tournament.
6'5", 235 from White Pigeon, Michigan.
How about that? Nixon's pitch. Breaking ball, swing and a miss, and Miller goes down swinging. And Croxton now comes up, and Nixon, after the somewhat rocky start, is just an out away from getting through 5 innings of really good baseball.
I think Miller may have been sitting fastball because that was kind of a hanging breaking ball right down and a little bit inside in the middle of the plate, but he was way too far out in front of it, couldn't even make contact with it. Good pitch.
Nixon 2/3 of the way there here in the 5th. Runner off, throw down to second, in time. So both catchers now showing off that strong throwing arm. The nice one hop here, and Lepper is out stealing for the 2nd time today. On to the 6th, tied at 2.
The State Bank is a cornerstone of the community. Our banking building blocks were assembled in 1911 and haven't differed much since then. We still stay true to our local roots, aiming to support, uplift, and celebrate the citizens and businesses of Huntington. As proud lenders to and patrons of our local businesses, we make our community an even more prosperous place. And when you support local banking, you play an important role in Huntington's success stories. No matter what financial products you may need, your business is an invaluable opportunity for us to strengthen our relationship with Huntington, which we're fortunate enough to call home. Bippa State Bank is banking at its best. We believe in community banking.
Home of the Foresters playing home to the Crossroads League tournament this week. We're now on to our 10th game. St. Francis dugout. No one's looking at the camera this time around, right?
Yeah.
They're a little more locked in. We're getting later in this one. We're now on to the top of the 6th, and it is still a 2-2 ball game. And, their season's on the line, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting late at later stages, I guess, in the game here. Even the umpires are locked in. These 2 starting pitchers are locked in as well. Preston keeping the pitch count low a little bit and keeping their teams in it. Both just at 80 pitches.
Yeah, Perlick has done a really nice job getting out, and his job now is to get Blaine Keener out, which he has both times up to the plate, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. The 1-1. Out of play. Some arms getting loose out in the St. Francis bullpen.
And Mount Vernon, too, I think. Somebody's standing there. There's no catcher, so.
The pitch. Pops straight up in the air. This will be playable for Jose Valdez Sandoval. Shields the sun and makes the play. Jose Valdez Sandoval has been really solid defensively. Obviously, that was one of the easier plays, but he's flashy out there at second base. Take a look at that Cougar bullpen. Arm getting loose for the Cougars just in case Perlick gets into a little bit of trouble. Looks like Casey Henry, who we have seen already in this tournament, getting some throws in and ready to roll. Perlick's first pitch to Candle is too high. 0 for 1 today. He also had that sac fly all the way back in the first. See the stance of Candle as he's up 3-0. And this is not what Perlick wants to do, is put someone on, and Blankenship's up next, and the bottom of the order is coming. But we talked about how the bottom of the Mount Vernon order has really been pretty solid.
And a thing to keep out on with runners on, both teams are well under 200 on the day so far. So when they've gotten runners on base, they just have not been able to bring them in. We'll see if that changes here.
Perlick can't get that one in the zone, and that might be not the end of his day, but a mound visit, it appears.
We'll see. It is the head coach going out to the mound. Typically in professional leagues, when the head manager comes out, that usually means they're done.
We'll see if that's the case here. You did see in the background there from that camera on the third baseline, maybe just a little word of wisdom here, a little motivation to keep Perlick in the zone and see if he can lock back in. But on that camera view from the third base angle, you saw Donawa again getting loose for Mount Vernon. He's been used in I think 3 of their games. If he were to come into this one, it would be his 3rd appearance in just this tournament. And we already told you about Henry for St. Francis. He looks ready to go.
I think he thought he was even coming in. He was making some steps towards the bullpen fence to come in, and then Coach Butcher from St. Francis tapped the shoulder of Perlick and said, "Okay, go get him."
Blankenship at the plate, swings and misses. He's 1 for 2 on the day.
They should have walkie-talkies in the dugout to the bullpen that say, I know there's bullpen phones, but we don't have them here. But something to say, hey, we're not bringing you in, or hey, we're going to bring you in, be ready.
It's funny you say that. I feel like when I was walking in yesterday during the Taylor game that you guys were calling, I thought I saw Taylor bullpen have a walkie-talkie.
They might have, yeah. That wouldn't surprise me.
It's smart, right?
Yeah, sure. Because if you're a pitcher, you want to know, hey, I'm going in like right now.
I mean, there's a lot of sticks. I guess they could do smoke signals.
Jeez, I don't think so.
No, they're not going to be burning any of the trees in Forest Glen Park. They start a little bullpen fire out there for a cold game.
I think a phone call would work.
Yeah, maybe. They're not too far away either. I'm sure they could just make someone run out there from the bench. The pitch. Fouled off.
A smoke signal. That's awesome. Where did you just go? I know we're in the forest, but where did that come from?
I don't know. You know, when you watch enough baseball, you just got to have fun with it.
No, of course.
And talk about something interesting. Here's the pitch. Lifted to the right side. Hit pretty well. Back on it is Miller at the warning track. Makes the running grab. Blankenship gave it a little bit of a ride, but he's taken care of. And Candle will head back to first base, and 2 down here in the top of the 6th. So maybe that motivational talk there with the pitcher on the mound, Perlick, works out a little bit.
Yeah, just keep your pitcher dialed in, and maybe Coach Butcher over there say, hey, you're my guy right now. I trust you. Are you still good to go? Yep. Okay, well, we trust you in this spot. We're going to keep you out there.
Ty Williams, 1 for 2 on the day. He had that solo shot. And right now he's got another opportunity. See Candle still over there at first base. Here's the pitch. Outside. Riley thought that was a strike, but the count's 2-0.
I thought it was too.
Yeah, that's been called frequently today. Coach Butcher aligning Croxton out there in center field. Maybe expecting Williams to go the other way.
Right.
The pitch. Seems like Williams does that often. He had a couple of singles that way. And obviously the home run was right down the right field line.
Well, maybe he'll pull it this time.
Yeah, you never know. Here's the 2-1. Hit to the right side. If it's fair, it's trouble, and it is fair up against the fence. The races are off. Coach Veal's going to hold the runner at third, and Ty Williams continues to hit the ball the other way for extra bases. Second and third. 2 outs, top of the 6th, and Zach Hoops coming up next.
Now, this is a guy that's hitting 227 on the year, now has 2 extra bases in a game that has been very, very low scoring. He's got a home run and a double to opposite field, and they've both been hit hard.
And that is going to be the end of the day for Riley Perlick. He gets one more out after the first visit. The second visit is to bring in Casey Henry. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back, tell you more about Henry. Mount Vernon threatening here in the top of the 6th.
Day and on your worst day. And I think even with my kids, I don't pull away from them when they're having a hard day. I come even closer to them, right? So God is leaning in close to you guys tonight. He's saying, come back home if that's you. If you feel like you're too far, come back home, and I'm going to give you the best of everything I have. You guys know He's a good Father. Come on. He's reminding us tonight of our identity in Him, that we're sons, we're daughters, and we're loved. And so we're going to sing a song about that. We want you guys to sing it with us. It says that we truly are worth more than gold. All right, put your hands together. Come on. I want to hear you sing it out, all right? If you know it, let me hear you sing it. You were walking on the moon, now you're feeling low, oh, oh. What they said wasn't true, nah, you're beautiful, oh. Sticks and stones break your bones, I know what you're feeling. Words like those won't steal your glow. You're one in a million. This is for all the girls, boys all over the world. Whatever you've been told, you're worth more than gold. So hold your head up high. It's your time to shine. From the inside out it shows. You're worth more than gold. Yeah, let's go. Put your hands together. Come on. Hey. Everybody keeps score. I think you're gonna lose. Just ignore. 'Cause they don't know the real you. And all the rain in the sky can't put out your fire. What's your name? Paige. I'll give it up for Paige tonight. Come on. Paige, you shine bright as this. Paige, this is for all the girls, boys all over the world. Whatever you've been told, you're worth more than gold. So hold your head up high, 'cause it's your time to shine. From the inside out it shows. Hey, you're worth more than gold.
Casey Henry
Casey Henry, I was just
Yeah.
saying that, yeah.
into the game. First
One
pitch.
way to introduce him.
Outside, yeah. Well, you want to know who he is if you're tuning in, right?
Of course.
Another right-handed pitcher. He pitched an inning and a third against Indiana Wesleyan a couple days ago and did a really nice job. 6 starts on the year, 14 appearances. Gets a swing and a miss from Hoop. 2 wins, 6 losses on the year in 38 innings and a 7.11 ERA. And you know, Hoop, another one of those guys in the bottom of the order who's come up with some big hits. The 1-1. Breaking ball. Whoa, that is generous on the outside corner for strike 2.
Tough one for Zachary Hoop there. If I were him, maybe take a couple of steps up in the box just in case he tries to pound that outside corner again.
Henry the pitch. Breaking ball, swing and a miss.
Just like
So
that.
Perlick gets through 4 2/3. Henry comes in and shuts down the threat from Mount Vernon. Breaking ball. Hoop goes down, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. Still tied at 2.
State Bank is a cornerstone of the community. Our banking building blocks were assembled in 1911 and haven't differed much since then. We still stay true to our local roots, aiming to support, uplift, and celebrate the citizens and businesses of Huntington. As proud lenders to and patrons of our local businesses, we make our community an even more prosperous place. And when you support local banking, you play an important role in Huntington's success stories. No matter what financial products you may need, your business is an invaluable opportunity for us to strengthen our relationship with Huntington, which we're fortunate enough to call home. Bippa State Bank is banking at its best. We believe in community banking.
The Wildcats taking in some free baseball before they actually jump on the field themselves, and they'll be playing the Foresters again. The Foresters kind of beat up on them last night, and IWU, you know, they have to win tonight to stay alive, Ryan, and if HU can win, they're kind of in the driver's seat of this tournament.
It's been an interesting tournament, you know, with Taylor going down so early on the first 2 games, and you know, that might hurt them in potential playoff seeding too, because they made the opening round with the regular season auto bid, and plus they're hosting. But yeah, it's been an interesting tournament. Now this late stages, you know, if Indiana Wesleyan were eliminated, I mean they're the 3 seed, but this is deep into the tournament, so that's not as wacky, I guess.
Broxton swings and misses, and what has been a little wacky is us trying to figure out exactly how this bracket works. It seems like we're just always juggling it and changing brackets, but we've told you the situation. What a play by Nixon as he just puts his hand out, grabs the ball, and throws it over to first, and that's a nice play by the pitcher.
Well, he's just trying to help himself out, and sometimes it's a little Christmas gift right into the glove, but I think he played this pretty well. He knew exactly where it was at, didn't seem to ole that with the glove, and just made a really nice play, and that's a huge first out.
Pisa steps up now. He's 1 for 2 today. He takes a good breaking ball in there for a strike. You know, Nixon now up to around 85 pitches.
He's going to keep going, though, as long as he keeps dealing on the mound as he has. We haven't seen it too much, but we will see pitchers definitely exceed that 100 pitch mark as long as they keep on just throwing really well.
Nixon finds the grip and pitches. Breaking ball hammered by Pisa, but foul. Counts 1 and 2.
Because if a team goes down now here, you know, you're going to have the summer to rest. Now, I'm not advising teams to just blow somebody's arm out. Of course, if your pitcher says, hey, my arm is tired, that's where you get in danger zone.
Lifted to right field. Heck has been busy again, and he will continue to make every play he's had the opportunity to catch. I didn't word that the best, but either way, he's made another play.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Heck's been busy. That's the end of the story. And
as we've seen in right field, it's not the route you take, it's just making the catch, right?
Exactly. That'll bring up Noah Mack. He's 1 for 2 on the day. He struck out once. Pitch. Lifted to right field. Heck will have another chance. This time a little tougher. Dive. And he made the play.
What a play by Hogan Heck.
Heck
Right at the warning track.
roaming over at the wall, dives, and continues to play a solid right field. Hogan Heck saving the day so far. We head to the 7th, 2-2.
This is how we like to do it.
We've made it to the 7th. Hogan Heck, how about this?
Well, this is one of two really nice defensive plays by the Cougars. Of course, pitcher made a nice play on a comebacker, but that's an excellent catch, and Hogan Heck did it. He got a little dirty doing so because that's the warning track out there, right in front of the fence. Makes the catch and takes a little bit of a risk because you don't want to drill your head into that, of course, or maybe catch something, catch a part of the fence. But lays out and it rewards his team. And look, we still got 2s on the scoreboard, and now they're back up to the plate.
And how many times do you see someone make an incredible play and then you look and he's leading off the next inning?
Yep, exactly. So he has a chance now to save a run and maybe bring home one for the Mount Vernon Cougars.
Casey Henry's still out there, wants to avoid that as he drops in a first pitch strike. I think Henry was the one that we kept seeing that string hang off his glove, maybe a distraction mechanism for the hitter at the plate, as it's been distracting so far to Heck. 0-2 count. I don't know if you guys can see that, but look at that thing. I mean, just tighten it up, right?
Or just cut it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever works, though.
0-2. Breaking ball lifted to the right side. A lot of foul ground over there. Over to take a peek is Pisa, and he'll have plenty of room to retire Heck.
Huge first out. Because Hogan Heck, obviously with a ton of speed, and can turn over to Ryder Minnick and Casey Coleman. And we've seen that a lot. Pitching has just been really, really good today. Defense obviously has been really, really good today. And that's what you like to see. You know, you like offense and whatnot, but you really like, especially in high-drama tournament situations in baseball, it just makes every out so crucial.
Henry keeps going to that breaking ball. He's up on Minnick 0-1. Henry, another righty for this St. Francis staff. Minnick, right-handed batter. He has been on base once today. Wants to start a rally here for Mount Vernon. The pitch. Breaking ball again. I think we've only seen breaking balls from Henry here in this inning.
St. Francis is a team that likes to throw a lot of sliders, too. When we were going over scouting reports last year, they threw a ton of them.
Minnick lifts one to center field. Croxton coming in. Speedy and uses the legs to get there in time. And now 2 up, 2 down, and Henry settling in nicely. He'll have a tough Casey Coleman coming up next.
Good pitch to hit, just got under it a little bit, and it's just a can of corn out in center field.
You know, we used that last time, and actually someone commented and told us why the term can of corn came around.
Serious?
Yeah, I needed to know because I actually didn't know. Of course, I've used it before, but Dylan told me that was, you know, something his family's use anytime they watch a baseball game.
Yeah.
So then we got curious. Carson and I got an answer, and we explained it to everyone else watching. The numbers explain how good of an offensive player Coleman is as he fouls this one back.
Yeah, this is an at-bat where he's had such a good offensive day that you're going to tell you, at least I would tell my starting pitcher, you know, throw it just outside the zone or right on the corner so he doesn't have a great opportunity to get a barrel on it. And maybe if it's 2-0, 3-0, which obviously it's not now, 0-2, but just be as careful as possible. And, you know, putting him on isn't the end of the world in this situation.
Henry gets a check swing from Coleman, and it's fouled off the netting behind home plate.
Now that you got him 0-2, no pitches near the zone. That is a no-no here in this situation.
See what Henry does. That one is nowhere near the zone, and it is high. So maybe changing the eye level there, just like you were saying, Ryan. See if he goes back to that breaking ball. Looks like he will. Here's the pitch. A good one, but too low.
You still got another pitch to play around with here. It would be 3 balls if he misses the zone again, but anything to try to get a rollover or a pop out, or obviously a strikeout would work too, but just nothing that's going to catch the barrel too much.
The 2-2. Swung, hit up the middle. That's the shortstop Lepper. He delivers just in time to first base. So Henry back out there for his first full inning. He takes care of business quickly, and we head on to the 7th inning stretch. Hop out of your chair, keep the volume up, and we'll be back for the bottom of the 7th.
Bippa State Bank is a cornerstone of the community. Our banking building blocks were assembled in 1911 and haven't differed much since then. We still stay true to our local roots, aiming to support, uplift, and celebrate the citizens and businesses of Huntington. As proud lenders to and patrons of our local businesses, we make our community an even more prosperous place. And when you support local banking, you play an important role in Huntington's success stories. No matter what financial products you may need, your business is an invaluable opportunity for us to strengthen our relationship with Huntington, which we're fortunate enough to call home. Bippa State Bank is banking at its best. We believe in community banking.
Mount Vernon back on the mound and pitching like an all-star today is Johnny Nixon. I don't know. We were talking about walk-up songs in the first game. What would you walk out to if you had the chance, Ryan?
Sorry, I just got
you're good.
got a text for the can of corn reference.
No, it's okay. Don't worry
Again.
about
Looks like Coach Frame will have one.
it. Here's the pitch.
Yeah, so you're talking walk-ups.
Hit to the right side. That's going to get through for a single. Go ahead.
Did you have a question with that?
Yeah, I was wondering
go ahead,
what your
sorry.
walk-up song would be if you had one, or
Oh, man.
I guess
That's
you're a
tough.
pitcher, so
That would be a walk out. Yeah. There's
Cardenas
too many.
shoots one.
There's too many to choose. I don't know. Something Eminem maybe. I'm a state of Michigan boy, so maybe something Eminem.
Okay,
A walk up song, No Diggity, I think would be one of mine.
that'd be sharp. We'll see if Valdez Sandoval's thinking about bunting. He is. He can't get it down on the first pitch. So you had someone else talking about can of corn. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Coach Mike Frame is he's going to give us the answer to it. Hopefully here in a second.
Well, like I said, we did have an explanation in the last game. Something to do with old-time grocery stores. They had to use a stick to hit the can of corn down, and then you'd catch it, and you'd make an easy catch out of it, and that's why they called it a can of corn. So, similar story, I'm assuming.
I would assume so too. I love the term. Baseball terms are great.
Yeah, they are.
I just think baseball props and things like, bubble gum or sunflower seeds, wearing hats. I think it's really cool. Baseball's obviously really unique and
Sure is.
whatnot.
The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball. This could be two. Minnick over to Hop in time to first. So finally one of these sides gets a double play ball, and it's Mount Vernon. Valdez Sandoval grounds into a twin killing.
And that definitely works here in late drama action here. Look at that play on one knee, this time turning it perfectly. And now we got two gone here in the 7th inning.
Ryder Minnick played a really sharp shortstop. And it looks like we're going to have a change at the plate here. So a new hitter up. Gavin Noble will be taken out of the game for a pinch hitter. And who may that be? It's Aiden Lichtensteiger. We saw him play third base yesterday for St. Francis.
Hits 212 on the season, 11 RBIs. Not a ton of pop in that bat. But going to have to provide something here and get on base. At least it's what Coach Butcher wants. Coach Frame has confirmed we described it correctly. So
Okay,
way to go,
good.
Preston.
Good.
Explaining that.
Hoping I remembered the story correctly. Like I said, someone helped me earlier in the day. So
Yeah. Baseball's a hard sport to know everything about.
it sure is. Here's the 1-0. That's on the outside corner. Counts 1-1. I'm telling you, this game, we're getting down to, I guess if you were to play the bottom of the ninth, 13 outs total. Is my math right?
Think so?
Yeah, 13 outs total.
You're asking a non-math guy that question.
Well, neither am I.
That's a great combination.
Yeah. So I mean, we're getting down to the final part of this ball game, and we haven't had a walk-off yet, but maybe we'll see one here in this one.
Walk-offs are fun.
Yeah. Here's the pitch. Lichtensteiger pokes it to right. Heck continues to be a ball magnet, and he catches everything at him. So once again, we're through 7 innings. It is a 2-2 ball game. Old-style pitchers duel. Back to Forest Glen Park after this break.
We like to do it.
Pretty clean scoreboard out there today. 2-2 as we head into the top of the 8th. 6 hits for the away team, Mount Vernon, who will grab the bats and head out against Casey Henry. Only 5 hits and 2 runs to show for those hits for St. Francis. You know, we talked about this conference being so offensive heavy. Right now, it's a pitcher's duel once again. We have seen a handful of those this week.
Yeah, I didn't really expect that either. Just looking and running through the numbers of the starting pitchers, I know that doesn't mean anything when it comes to just playing the game every single day, but at least tells the story a little bit. And I think, you know, with maybe not a shorter leash on the starting pitchers, but that bullpen is thin. You don't want to use a ton of guys because your numbers are already limited in the bullpen. So unless your pitcher's just getting eaten alive, which clearly we're not seeing, you're going to want to keep your starter in. You know, even if you're giving up 5, 6, 7 runs, you're going to want to just ink out as much as you can out of them.
Perimsky takes the first pitch from Henry outside. Looks like Noble is back in at third base, so Lichtensteiger had that pinch hit appearance, and Noble goes back in defensively. This is hit hard to the right side, diving play Pisa. Feed to Henry in time, and Ryan, we've seen all kind of defense today.
Yeah, on both sides of the ball too. And we've seen Riley make some good plays. We've seen, of course, Sam Pisa making a great play here. And you kind of have to late stages of the game because you cannot allow a base runner to get on base because that's going to be potentially the winning run at the end of it and end somebody's season. Excellent job by both teams.
Blaine Keener steps in. Only 11 combined hits, too, and there's been a lot of balls in play, not a ton of strikeouts.
Not a lot of hits with runners in scoring position or just even at first either. Well over 200 for both sides.
Blaine Keener 0 for 3 on the day, 1 K. Casey Henry has come in and shut down this Mount Vernon offense so far. Mount Vernon has not scored since the 3rd inning. Here's the pitch, just inside. St. Francis got one in the 1st, turned around and had one in the 3rd, and they have not scored since the 3rd frame as well. Here comes the 2-1. Hit hard to the left side. This will be a shortstop ball. Lepper, long throw, in time! The defense keeps coming, and St. Francis keeps Mount Vernon off the bases.
You've got to be kidding me. I mean, what a defensive showing today, especially late here. Again, I sound like a broken record, but it's late stages of the game. Jaden Lepper with an outstanding play, making it all the way over near third base.
Long throw by the shortstop. He put plenty on it, and Henry's going to have to maybe give a little hat tip to his defenders right now. I mean, they're really keeping Mount Vernon off the bases anytime a ball is put in play.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I mean, that potentially could be first and second with nobody out very easily. I'm sure the expected batting average on both of those was relatively high.
This one's hit hard and just off the glove of Lepper. Nearly the 3rd web gem of the inning for St. Francis, and Candle's probably thinking, man, how do you get a ball over one of these guys' heads?
I know. I almost expected this to be caught, though. It was just way out of the stretch of Lepper, which, man, he really got up there, too, and was able to get the tip of his glove on it.
wonder if it's easier to get off the ground on turf. I'm just speaking. I don't know if that would be true or not.
I would think so. Maybe not a huge difference,
Yeah.
but your cleats may not get stuck in the dirt or the grass. Obviously, in this case, it'd be the dirt, but
And the dirt can sometimes maybe be a little heavy, or you have some dirt
Right.
in your cleats, and I don't know. Either way, Leper gave that one a pretty good chance. Henry's 0-1. That's up and in, heads up. Seen a lot of hit by pitches in this tournament. A few more in the last game. Blankenship 1 for 3. Throw over to first. Candle back in time. The sun trying to poke through. We haven't seen the sun too much here today. It's been mostly overcast. Here's the pitch. That's too high.
makes all the difference, though, when it comes out. Just makes it that much warmer, and obviously for the players, too. They get to sit out in it, and sometimes it affects you more than others. Sometimes just clouds affects trying to catch a fly ball.
Here comes the 2-1 pitch. That one's high, and now it's 3-1. Blankenship came into today a .233 hitter. He's raised that slightly. Henry trying to get out of this late inning jam. Here's the pitch. That's too high, and now Henry's kind of dug himself a little bit of hole. And Mount Vernon maybe just a hit away from taking their first lead since the third inning. And guess who's coming up? Ty Williams, who's really been solid.
Yeah, he's hit everything to the opposite side here today. The home run and the double, all to really close to the foul line. So he's been maybe a little bit lucky that some of those haven't gone foul, but definitely taking advantage of it there. And maybe that's what pitching coach for St. Francis is talking about here, is saying, hey, you know, I know the umpire is calling those outside pitches, but don't help this guy out because he's been taking advantage of it. I don't know. Maybe it's just a situation where maybe they could be putting a pickoff play on, like say, hey, if this guy really gets off, we're going to go with this pickoff move, or try to steal an out somewhere, maybe even something over at first base. I don't know. It could be a million things that they're talking about, but that's potentially what could be going on.
I mean, you know, for a lot of these guys, this could be their last collegiate baseball game, and so every pitch is elevated that much higher emotionally. And Ty Williams is the man that gets to come up, and he's just a freshman, so he's got a lot of college baseball remaining. And, you know, he's had a tough year at the plate, but today, the solo home run and the double down the right field line, he's got to be one of the most confident people currently at this ball diamond.
Yeah, he probably is, and even with him being a freshman too, this is still a high leverage situation deep into a game. Backs are against the wall, and I'll tell you, you know, though he's got a lot of baseball left to play as a freshman, he doesn't want to have his seniors go home who have been helping him, you know, throughout the entire year, adjust to the college life and college baseball.
Here's the pitch. Too low.
I know that was me my freshman year. You know, I wanted to make it myself, of course, but you want to make it for those seniors, you know, one last ride for them. I think we had 9 seniors my freshman year, and we just wanted them to have that experience before they left.
Williams takes a strike. Count evens up at 1-1. Blankenship's on first. Candle's on second. Actually, Crawford has entered the game in at second, so he's a pinch runner. A little more speed out there for Mount Vernon. The 1-1. That one drops in for a strike, so now 1-2.
All it takes is a bloop base hit, man. That's and now all it takes is just one strike to get out of the inning. This is a huge pitch coming up.
There's Crawford. Chance for him to score on a hit if Williams can put it in play. Good lead out at second. Henry thought about dealing, but will step off and readjust. Here's the set from Henry. And the pitch. Did he go? He did! Williams down swinging. Henry gets out of trouble for the second straight inning. We'll see if St. Francis can bring that to the plate. Williams down on the swing. We head to the bottom of the 8th.
As the owner of JJ's, I invite you to visit one of our 7 BP convenience stores. And when you do, I expect you will experience hometown excellence in the cleanest and friendliest convenience stores in your community. Please also consider visiting JJ Java for the best cup of coffee in town, or JJ's Pit Stop for a quick, no appointment necessary professional oil change. Also, if you ever need a clean and efficient environment in which to do laundry, JJ's washroom is ready to serve you.
How about one of the best games of the tournament here in Game 10, a must-win for both sides. The loser goes home, the winner moves on, and potentially has a date in the championship tomorrow based off of what may happen in the game tonight between Huntington University and Indiana Wesleyan. Ryan, we've got a new pitcher on the mound for Mount Vernon. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, we sure do. Now, first off, obviously a really nice job by starting pitcher Johnny Nixon for Mount Vernon. Just the 2 runs given up, and he threw 96 pitches, but they want to go with one of their best bullpen arms, and that's going to be sophomore pitcher. He's been in 16 games this season. He started 3 times, 4-1 with a save. He's thrown just over 40 innings and keeping that ERA low at a 4.97 in the Crossroads League. That's pretty darn good, but Mount Vernon going with probably their best bullpen option right here, right now against St. Francis, and he's going to have to get the first out here with Eli Riley because you don't want to go to that top of the order with David Miller sitting right there.
Yeah, even with Lepper, who's had a good day at the plate as well. He's been on several times, and you know, Donawa has been used a lot in this tournament already. He's kind of, like you said, their high leverage man, and he's got a big job here.
He's just a sophomore too, so he's going to be doing it for a couple more years here in Mount Vernon uniform.
Eli Riley at the plate. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Lepper waits on Zach, and here is the 1-0. Breaking ball in there for strike 2, and that's kind of what Donawa does. He comes in and he uses that breaking ball at a very high rate. Seems like that's his best pitch.
Wants it outside here. See if you can get that call.
Right on the outside corner, and it's maybe just a little too far out by Donawa. That looks like a pretty good pitch.
It did, and the umpire made a motion to call strike 3 as well.
Maybe Donawa can get him on the next one. There's the replay. He drops a breaking ball in on the next pitch too high. So maybe potentially a game-changing call there, because if Riley now finds his way on, top of the order's up next. 2-2. Breaking ball popped up to the right side. Back on it is Hoop. He'll make the call and the catch, and I guess at the end of the day it doesn't matter because Riley is out to lead off the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, one extra pitch wouldn't hurt you too bad, but yeah, potentially could be getting a runner on, but we'll obviously never know now. Just one extra pitch for 1 out. And a huge first down as well.
That'll bring up Lepper. He's been on a couple times today. He's 1 for 2 at the plate. Walked another time. First pitch swinging, fouls it back. No one's up and warming up in the St. Francis bullpen, so it appears to be Henry's game out there on the mound.
Yeah, it was really the battle of the 2 starting pitchers today, and now these 2 guys will probably go for a while. Unless we go into extras and it goes that deep, you probably won't see another pitcher. It just depends on how their arms are feeling, but obviously the 2 relievers here are feeling good and fresh.
Donawa working quick. Here's the pitch. Lifted in the air. Lepper is going to stay alive, though, because this one's going to fall out of play. It counts 1-2. Check out Jaden Lepper's really solid year at shortstop. You expect your shortstop to be really good defensively, but he's pretty stinking good offensively as well.
Well, certainly is. Got a lot of power, drives in. Whole bunch of players every year. Nobody on base this time, though.
The 1-2 lifted to the right side. This should stay in play. We'll see if a Mount Vernon defender can get to it, and they won't. I mean, you almost expect Hogan Heck to come up with the ball anytime it goes his way. He's made so many plays today.
Made the one diving in the outfield on the warning track. You know, if you're an outfielder and, you know, you're not sliding in the turf here, you know, there's no way to get dirty unless you dive in the warning track. So if anybody comes back, you're like, wow, why is your uniform dirty? You're playing on turf. Well, I, you know, just dove on the warning track. Made the catch. No big deal.
Donowell with the pitch. On the outside corner, ripped to shortstop. Minnick has it over to first in time. And I tell you what, right now, both of these offenses just don't have an answer for anyone that steps on the mound.
And see, the ball was hit hard, too.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was on the ground and right to the shortstop there. You know, that's a base hit up the middle and whatnot. But, yeah, just hitting it right to somebody, it's almost guaranteed an out because these two teams have been playing so well defensively, as we'll see here on the replay. Just a clean ground ball, hit really hard, just right there, though.
David Miller steps up, and if anyone can put his team up with one swing, this is the right guy to have at the plate. Heavy-duty matchup here. Donawa's 1-0. Miller takes down, so he's way up here in the count, 2-0. I think he'd obviously be sitting fastball here and ready to untie this game.
He might swing out of his shoes here if it gets anything close.
The pitch. He did swing hard, but it's a ground ball foul. Counts 2-1. Already 2 home runs in the tournament, one today, a solo shot. And that was all the way back in the 3rd inning. You can see he's had power all year long. The pitch. That one's low, and once again, in that 3-1 hitter's count. He's looking for a pitch he can do damage on. I promise he's thinking one thing right now. Here it comes. He hits it hard to the right side. Nice play by the second baseman, Hoop, on to first. And the defensive Web Gems continue. A pitcher's duel at Forest Glen Park. David Miller hits it hard, but Hoop makes a better play. We head to the 9th. We're tied at 2 between St. Francis and Mount Vernon.
This is how we like to do it.
We're back here for the top of the 9th. You know, Ryan, we're only in the top of the 9th, but say we go to extras. What's the longest game you've ever been a part of?
That's crazy. When I really think about it, there hasn't been too many games that I've been a part of that it goes for that long. Probably 11 or 12 innings, I would say, but I don't really remember a time where that's happened. We've usually gotten it done a couple innings later, so maybe 2 extra innings.
Gotcha.
You know, high school is 7 innings, so maybe that would be a 9-inning game technically. But yeah, I think that's probably the longest, 10, 11, 12 innings. Nothing too crazy.
Well, for the top of the order here coming up, well, it's actually Hoop, the 9-hole hitter. Excuse me, he just made that really nice play defensively in the bottom of the 8th, and now he steps up in the top of the 9th. I actually had a high school game. I think it was against Logansport. I think it was 16 innings.
Go Berries, says Matt Fouts on the camera.
16 innings in high school. So you think that's 9 extra innings.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I know our people behind the scenes would love a 17-inning game here today. 2-1 pitch. Hoop swings and misses.
No, the extra innings is probably the last thing that these two teams would want to see.
Absolutely.
Your arms are already beaten up a little bit. and now extending that a little bit more.
Henry's done a nice job at least giving St. Francis a chance, and he's done more than that. That pitch looked pretty good as well. And now both sides are kind of starting to think, why did this strike zone shrink? Let's take a look at it. Maybe a little too low.
Low.
That's a good angle to check that out from. Henry gets a ground ball to third. Short, Lepper across the infield. It doesn't matter who you hit it to right now, really. If it's short or third, it seems like everyone's making the play. And in a 2-2 game, you have to, because every single base runner's that much more elevated.
And even in the earlier stages, it seems like a while that we've had a base runner on. Even when base runners have been on, both teams have not been hitting very well with runners, not even just in scoring position, just on base in general.
Hogan Heck steps up. Swing and a miss. Tried to check it, but could not hold it back. Heck on the day is 0 for 3. 293 coming in. They'd love to get their leadoff man on. That's in there for strike 2. Right now, Henry looks dialed on the mound.
I'm really interested why maybe Hogan Heck wasn't trying to square for a bunt for hit. Third base was playing about even with the bag and with his speed. Just never know. I thought maybe they'd give it a try, but Hogan Heck also a really good hitter at the plate that hits for a high average. So obviously a lot of trust in that bat. We'll see if it pays off here.
And I'm sure Mount Vernon right now remembers that call at first base where Minnick tried to bunt for a hit and he was called out. Right now that seems to loom pretty large. Not saying that one particular play really makes or breaks a game, but you got to think what happens after that if he's safe. 2-2 count. The pitch. Checks his swing that time, and the count's full. So Heck having a really good at-bat if he can find his way on. You got a contact man and Minnick up next, and then a run producer and Coleman to follow.
I think one maybe mistake or one play here in the ninth inning beyond, I think will make the world of a difference.
Here's the 3-2. Heck hits it hard, and that's going to be a single up the middle. So the leadoff man is on. One out here in the top of the ninth, and we'll see if Mount Vernon has anything up their sleeves. We have seen a really strong arm from Riley behind the plate. And finally, it seems like our first base hit in a while there comes from the leadoff man from MVNU.
And now it's going to be tough to steal on the arm of Eli Riley, but you got to think Mount Vernon's going to try to scrape a stolen base here. I'm sure they're going to throw over a couple different times as well to keep him as close to first as possible.
Pitch is in there, a breaking ball for a strike. No one warming up in Mount Vernon's bullpen. A couple of guys getting loose, it looks like, in the left field bullpen for St. Francis. Everyone's got to be ready in a game like this, a must-win at the end of the season. Heck, a short lead. Henry throws over, just like you said, keeping him awfully close to that bag.
At this stage of the game, every step matters. So if you can get a half or step or two from Hogan Heck so he doesn't get picked off or worried that he could get picked off. What's going on here?
Looks like Heck's grabbing one of those oven mitts that we've seen introduced to baseball.
That's right.
I am not a fan of that.
Not a fan of that, really.
No,
it's more so for injury.
Well, I understand, but it also adds maybe 3 inches to someone's hand, and that makes the difference whether or not you steal a bag.
Which is true. I can see that. A chance you could get spiked, with your fingers or jammed. You've seen a lot of people get their fingers jammed on second base and whatnot, but I can see that.
I mean, eventually someone's just going to put like a 6-inch extension on their cleat and be safe every time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just messing around. Minnick in an 0-1 count at the plate. Henry trying to get out of the top of the ninth. The pitch. That's on the outside corner. 0-2 count.
Yeah, I would live on that outside corner right there as much as possible.
Henry's had great command. He's only walked one batter in 2 2/3. Long pause in the 0-2. Heck's off. Throw down to second. In time again. Nice tag by Jose Valdez Sandoval. And Riley continues to cut down base runners for Mount Vernon.
And he got one of the best base stealers in the Crossroads League in Hogan Heck. That's a huge out now. 1 strike away from getting out in the inning.
Valdez Sandoval just
Got him on
did
the
catch Heck, excuse me. Yeah, right there on the arm. And so Henry now with the 2-strike pitch leaves it too high.
What a nice tag by Sandoval there. Got him right on the arm or just on the chest. It was tough to see with the view, but that is an excellent play.
The 2-2. Hit hard to the left side. Lepper's going to make another good play. Makes the throw over again. And St. Francis will have a chance to walk it off. The Cougars continue to play amazing defense. This time Minnick to Lepper. Over to first to Pisa. We're tied. Bottom of the 9th up next.
As the owner of JJ's, I invite you to visit one of our 7 BP convenience stores. And when you do, I expect you will experience hometown excellence in the cleanest and friendliest convenience stores in your community. Please also consider visiting JJ Java for the best cup of coffee in town, or JJ's Pit Stop for a quick, no appointment necessary professional oil change. Also, if you ever need a clean and efficient environment in which to do laundry, JJ's Washroom is ready to serve you.
Bottom of the 9th. What every young baseball player dreams of, a chance to walk it off and potentially the biggest game of their lives. And Donawa will still be out there. It's also a big day for the umpires. You see 3 umpires here today in this tournament, and every call also for them elevated right now, and they've got to be on the top of their game. And they obviously hear a lot of stuff from the fans and the players, and for the most part, they've done a really nice job this tournament.
Really have. It's a lot of games and in just one day, and really the weekend too. And I'm sure they're getting a nice healthy paycheck for it, and you get some really good baseball to do it. So why not go out and umpire today?
So Croxton will lead it off. One of the speediest players on this St. Francis roster has a chance to get something started. He'll take a breaking ball in there, strike 1. Donawa out there for his 2nd inning. The first inning he pitched was perfect. Here's the pitch. Croxton hits one up the middle, and the rally's on. We'll see how aggressive Croxton is on the turn. He'll slam on the brakes and head back to the bag, and exactly how St. Francis wanted to draw it up here in the bottom of the 9th.
That's exactly what you got to do to get it started. We've seen the leadoff man get on a lot in this game too, and we'll have to see if you can reverse some demons here and start hitting the ball with runners on base. And what better part of the order to do it here with the cleanup man, Sam Pisa.
He's 1 for 3 on the day, 1 RBI. Croxton over at first. Here's the pitch. Outside corner fastball.
St. Francis just 1 for 9 today. Hitting with runners on base here today, but Pisa got some power in that bat.
Donawa's 0-1. Croxton's off. Throw down to second. In time again, and now Croxton's out trying to steal. Casey Coleman keeps the potential game-winning run out of scoring position, and both catchers now showing off the arm.
Just a beautiful throw and a really nice job by Minnick. That was about as close as it gets, but gets the out call there and now clears the bases.
That one's outside. Obviously pretty hard to see from that first angle. Let's take a look here.
I think he did get him on the body.
It's really close.
Right in the midsection.
2-1, hit hard up the middle, and Pisa singles, and now St. Francis has kind of got to be kicking themselves for trying to steal.
That could have potentially been the game winner.
Yeah,
right
even
there.
I mean, even that, you think Croxton, if he's still on first, that ball goes up the middle, he might go all the way to third.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
you're
instead,
absolutely right.
it's 1 out, Pisa's on first. I understand the aggressiveness, for sure.
Kind of have to, yeah.
Trying to stay out of the double play. We'll see how it works out. Mac steps up. Chance to be the hero. The pitch. Donawa outside. Mac on the day 1 for 3 and a strikeout. He homered in yesterday's game. If he homers now, the St. Francis dugout just might lose their mind. Here's the pitch. Hit hard through the right side. We'll see if Pisa goes to third. He's on his way. Beck on it. Over to third and safe. Pisa 90 feet away from winning it for St. Francis. Hogan Heck had a chance. Just not enough on the throw. And the speedy Pisa works over to third base. Now it's runners on the corners.
Sure did, and he never stopped running, going over to third. Really nice base running there from Pisa to get over to third base. And now a pass ball could advance the St. Francis Cougars to the next part, as they're gonna get a pinch runner to come in for Pisa.
They have a pinch runner coming in. As you mentioned, it's Brendan Lytle out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Bishop Dwenger High School graduate. And St. Francis now is going to have a little meeting in front of their dugout, and Mount Vernon and Coach Veal will have a chat on the mound. I mean, you cannot have a bigger situation than this at the end of a baseball game.
Yeah, and it's been a really nice rebound from St. Francis. You know, they had momentum all cut off after the base hit to lead things off by Xavier Croxton, but then that momentum taken away with the peg over at second base, but they continued to hit in the middle part of their lineup with Sam Pisa and Noah Mack. Now we'll bring up Colton Cardenas to the plate, and now momentum seems to be right with St. Francis, but you know what, Preston? We've seen some excellent defensive plays, so St. Francis getting a little bit more confidence, like, hey, we got one out, we got a guy on third, all we need to do is get him 90 feet, but you spin a ground ball, could be a double play, and we're going to the 10th inning.
I would say the analytics tell you to walk Cardenas here and then maybe deal with Jose Valdez Sandoval with a double play or a force out at any base, and obviously a sub-200 hitter, but that doesn't look to be the plan. It looks like Cardenas is going to get a chance to hit against Donawa, and maybe if Donawa gets down in the count, they put him on, and we'll see. St. Francis, a chance to move on. Breaking ball outside.
Man, that one could have escaped really quickly. A nice job by Coleman to reel that in and make a good move, get in front of it.
Lytle on third. Cardenas at the plate. The pitch. That one's right down the middle. Counts 1-1.
You're obviously looking for something on the ground. Check that runner over at third. Try to get a pop out in this situation. Nothing in the air deep, though. I bet you that St. Francis would send him really regardless of where it's at, as long as it's not too shallow.
The pitch. Breaking ball fouled away, and so Donawa just a pitch away from striking out Cardenas.
He's trying to do everything he can, guarantee it to elevate this ball. Even if you strike out, that's not a double play, and that's not going to peg your runner over at third and put him in any danger.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Donawa with a big strikeout. And now it moves on to Jose Valdez Sandoval, who can be the hero. Right now, Donawa doing everything he can to keep his team in this game.
He elevated this pitch high, and just right up near the eyes, it looks like a juicy fastball. And are they going to put him on? The bat's on the ground, at least for now.
So they're going to put Jose Valdez Sandoval on. Very interesting decision, and that's going to bring up Gavin Noble. So how about that strategy from Coach Veal? You let the 285 hitter hit, but then you walk the 189 hitter and bring up Noble, who's a 259 hitter. I don't know, you know? Maybe they know something we don't.
Yeah, it is a very interesting decision. Maybe it's to get a force out at any base.
The pitch. Noble takes outside corner, strike one.
Because now any of the infielders here have an opportunity to just touch each bag. So, you know, third baseman gets it there, just touch third, touch second. You could touch home plate if it's right at the plate, so you don't have to tag the runner anymore.
Here's the pitch. That's too high.
I think they might have valued both hitters about the same and say, okay, would we rather have more potential for outs around the bases, or, does it really matter who's up to the plate? That might have been why.
1-1 count. The pitch. Noble hits it right center field. Back over. It's going to get down, and St. Francis is going to win the game. Gavin Noble, sophomore walk-off winner. Jose Valdez Sandoval intentionally walked. Gavin Noble walks off Mount Vernon. A big hit for the St. Francis Cougars. They're alive. Mount Vernon's out of the tournament.
Well, it was a really good tournament for Mount Vernon. I thought maybe that Hogan Heck would be able to use his speed to get there, but that ball was just hit way too hard, and there was no chance whatsoever to go out and get it. What a tournament, though, for Mount Vernon. They've played from the plate in on here. They've had a nice run, but St. Francis just had a better day today and got it done with some timely hitting in the 9th inning.
And, earlier in the game, Noble was subbed out, and Lichtensteiger came in to hit. As you see some of these highlights from this extremely good baseball game, probably the best we've seen all tournament long. Noble gets to get back in there. He has his second chance, knocks in the game-winning run, and he will be the hero and talked about in St. Francis baseball for a while, especially if they can now win the Crossroads League tournament.
Absolutely. You're going to look back at this and just think, wow, what a game this was, and we were able to squeak one out with really good pitching today, obviously on both sides. And, wow, look at that monster shot from David Miller. But, man, what a game that we had here, Preston. Two teams that were dead even. Starting pitching was just about the same. Defense was just about the same at an elite level. Both teams gave it everything, and unfortunately it's going to sting really bad for Mount Vernon, but they have nothing to be ashamed about. They played so well in this tournament, eliminating the #1 seed, and St. Francis, hey, congratulations to them. You guys just played in, and you survived to see another day.
And the defense was the story, but the end of the day, it's Gavin Noble with the offense that puts St. Francis over the top. The Cougars, walk-off winners. We've got one more here tonight. The Foresters trying to get to the championship. St. Francis already through on Saturday. We'll be right back for another baseball game at Forest Glen Park. You're watching FDN Sports.